Hi there, everyone. We are back again with another episode of Get to Know Us, and this time it is with Pedroso and Pedrosa, and uh, they have released an album with us called Procurium Quati, which I might be butchering the pronunciation on. Um, they're a duo from Brazil. And we just celebrated the 1 year anniversary of Procurum Quati this past Saturday. So I am going to bring them both on. If I can always out.
Hey there.
Hey, hi. I'm attempting to bring Pedro in too. Oh, I think we got him. I think so. Wait, Pedro?
Hi.
Hey!
Hey.
Hey
Hey
there.
there.
It's great to see
Glad to be
both of
here.
you.
Hmm,
Yeah.
Great
So
to be
how
here.
Oh, it's good. Great to see you.
yeah, how are you both doing?
Fine, great. Doing better now.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Awesome.
All good.
Awesome. Yeah, this is probably going to be a little this is the first time I'm doing one with two people. So there's like three of us. So it probably will be a little bit odd with the like is it okay to talk next? You know?
Of course.
But we'll
Yeah,
we'll
I
figure
imagine so.
we'll figure it out. I was letting everybody know that we just celebrated the 1 year anniversary of your album Procurum Quati, but I wasn't sure if I was pronouncing that properly. Um,
Procura um coati. It's like that.
yeah, awesome. And yeah, and I guess like why don't we start it off just like about your name because it's funny and a little confusing sometimes. I know when I was first like doing like promotion stuff and like getting album stuff ready for the release and whatnot, I'd always have to be looking back. Wait, is it Pedroso and Pedrosa or is it Pedrosa and Pedroso? and I'd be like getting
Well, that was a gag. That was a gag that we were the bigger victims at the end because
Exactly.
we end up getting confused with every title that we put it in the beginning, and
Yeah.
then we just settled on one thing, and it was okay.
Yeah, and it
yeah.
was a big fight to decide which one would be the first name, and Rafael, of course, won this fight, so yeah.
That was a whole fight.
Yeah, there was a whole fight. And there's I must
It
say
was a
that
struggle.
Rafael had this idea like 15 years ago or 14 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, because
So it's
you
That's
know each
true.
other a
yeah,
very long time. Yeah.
a very long time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes from school times.
Yeah.
It's the last names are so close that we would joke about it all the time. And here in Brazil, there's a great tradition of the kind of country music
Yeah.
here, sertanejo. The duos they have like similar last names, or they even change their name
Yeah. Just
so
so
it can rhyme
it
together or
it
something like
becomes
that.
like funny, like a pair of names.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
there's one
Yeah.
duo that is called like Count and Dracula. Like
Oh, that's
it was a
awesome.
very famous.
Yeah,
Yeah. Count
that's a good
and Dracula.
example.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Are they any good?
I
You,
don't remember. I just remember their names. Yeah, but I must have heard it like years ago. Count and
yeah, yeah.
Dracula.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so I guess something that I always ask everybody is like how you first got into music as a listener, like maybe a first favorite song or album that you bought. Yeah, so whichever one of you wants wants to start first on that one.
Rafael.
Go ahead,
No,
Pedro.
it's yours,
I
Rafael.
think it was earlier for you.
No, I think it was earlier
Yeah,
for
do
you.
you want me to go first?
Yeah, please. Just to
Okay,
make you a hard
sure,
time. Okay.
sure. Yeah, I don't know. I always liked music. Like I don't know when it started getting serious for me as a listener to really taking it seriously and like researching different types of music. And actually I think listening is what I do best, and the whole music is just listen, not even playing or anything. I think I can get a lot by that. But yeah, it was early on. Like my mother put me on to, I don't know, David Bowie or something like that. It was easy for me to get to. I got into like '60s rock really early on. It was something big for me. I loved the Who and bands like that. And from that, I think it's a natural progression when you love something. And like me, I tend to research a lot of whatever I like. So with music was no different. So just went in head first.
Cool. Awesome.
Dive
Are
right
you
into it.
Pedro?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's funny
Yeah.
because, well, Rafa said he was really onto 60s rock. He showed me a lot of songs and bands. I must say that. Yeah, when we
Oh,
were
cool.
teenagers. But yeah, I
Yeah.
was kind of always involved with music because my father's a sax player, musician, and I made like an early school of recorder, and it was a school of orchestra of recorders with teenagers
Oh,
and
yeah.
kids. Yeah, but I
Cool.
left it really early too, and I think I just came to get involved again like really, really recently. But as a listener, I think it was like as a teenage, these things too. I remember like my father giving giving me a Waits album, and I was really young and I was listening like what the hell is this? I mean, where did this come from? This can be so theatrical, and I think it was something that impressed
Yeah.
me.
Oh, it's very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. And speaking of the recorder, I think you have some recorder playing on the album, correct? Yeah.
There,
Yeah, I
there's a
play.
lot.
Yeah,
Pedro is
there's
a
definitely
great
there's a
recorder
lot. I mean,
player.
I don't know, but I like metal, and there are some tracks that people think that it's like a guitar, but it's a distorted recorder or something like that.
I see. Yeah. 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 I knew that you played because I remember Hoffa telling me about it. Oh, hopefully our internet connection is not going going out for you, Pedro.
Well,
No. Um, so yeah. Oh, good. You're back.
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
around four.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk about the album then, but before we do that, like I would like to hear, I'm sure other people would like to hear, how you both started getting into writing and recording music, separately, together, both, all that. That'd be really awesome to know more about.
You want to take this one first, Pedro?
Oh, we
Well,
lost.
now apparently I'm taking this one.
Yeah, Pedro, come back.
It seemed to be a choice,
Yeah, hopefully
but
you'll come back.
okay. I'll talk for Pedro. If he doesn't come back, I'm sure he will appreciate everything that I have to say about his legacy on music. But no, well, answering how I got started doing music, it was actually pretty casually. I used to do tabletop RPGs. I used to play a lot of RPGs and like role playing games. And I was usually dungeon master, but I was a pretty shitty one, pretty bad dungeon master. And I was always thinking of ways of making the game more immersive. And then I came with the
Oh,
idea of making tracks, in a way, making soundtracks for the quests. And I would burn those in little CDs and try to sync them up with whatever action was happening.
Oh,
Usually
wow.
it would not work, but I
no,
really tried that for a while.
That sounds
And
really
that's
cool.
just how I started producing. And then I always loved like hip hop beats. And then from producing like kind of electronic soundtracks, it was a jump. It was really easy to get when I really wanted to learn to how to do some like boom bap beats or whatever. It was quite easy. And then from then on, yeah, I was just producing a lot.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Well, that's amazing about you
Pedro.
making soundtracks to your quest. So awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. What about you, Pedro? So I don't know if you heard, but I'm just asking, how you first started getting into writing and recording, and then you both could also talk about after that use individually, but then maybe even how the two of you started doing it together. And hopefully we won't lose
Yeah.
you again. No, don't go away, Pedro.
uh, yeah, Pedro is here, but he's not.
Yeah.
But while he's not, I can tell how PNP started, which I'm sure Pedro will agree 100% on everything I'll say. No, I was going to start joking. It was all my idea, but we collaborated really early with other mediums. Me and Pedro, we always loved filmmaking, so really early on we did films together, and so we always collaborated, and we always wanted to do music, but neither of us really took it very seriously. But then time passed, and I don't know. As when we saw, we were just making some tracks together. I thought he would, I thought he was back,
Yeah.
but he's not. Uh,
He's like a ghost coming in and
well,
out.
yeah, pretty much. Well, that was like I would use that same statement to say how he approached the album that we made 1 year ago, but that's just a joke. Pedro, are you
He'll
listening?
he'll
No.
be.
So yeah, but that's about it. Then I always Pedro said his father is a musician, and his father is a great musician. I always admired a lot. Pedro actually he used to sing with his father in a couple records, and he used to do vocals, and they were really good. So as far back as like I don't know 6 7 years ago, I wanted to work with him musically already. I always admired his voice, a lot of things. But yeah,
Yeah.
then eventually I made an offer. He was making some soundtracks for plays, I believe. He would explain better, I believe, or not,
Oh, well, hopefully
if he comes back.
he can stay on long enough to tell us. So we were talking about
Pedro?
yeah, if you
Am I
wanted to
here?
share. Yeah, you're here now. Hopefully it'll remain.
So good.
It wouldn't be like an Instagram live thing if there
Am I
wasn't
here?
technical
Sorry.
difficulty.
I
So, um,
Yeah, there's always been. I'm sorry, my internet's especially like crazy or temperamental. But yeah. But
So
I think I'm hearing you without delay now.
cool. Yeah, so just about
I
how
hope that
did
the
yeah
talk has been great.
yeah, if you would
Sorry, I didn't hear a word that you said before.
I'm sure, I'm sure you did. You did. Yeah, well, Hafa was telling us a little bit about how, he's always sort of admired uh, your music and your voice and whatnot, and the two of you, started started making music together. But yeah, I don't know if you wanted to talk. Oh, and that you made some albums with your dad. Actually, he brought that up, right?
you,
So
you sing you used to sing with your dad on
Yeah,
one album, I
I
think, but
on one album I sang some songs with him. It was an
really good.
album called Vozes da Rua, Voices from the Street would translate that. And it's a very incredible album. I like it a lot. But I was really young. It was like a new thing to me, and and yeah. But I think I only got into seriously like 3 years ago, and it was like in the meantime I was getting after some years, and we were like, okay, let's give life to the Pedroso and Pedrosa gag,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
not
were
only as a
working a
gag.
lot with plays, doing soundtracks for plays at the time. I think you still are,
Yeah,
but
at the time. No, no, at the time I was like, because I was involved with a Grupo Sem Cara, which is a theater, a drama group, and that's it. I was doing the soundtracks just like with college and sound college,
Oh, that's awesome.
and I think I showed one to Rafael, and I already knew his project with RPG soundtracks, and he already, I mean, a lot of his songs and music as well.
Yeah.
And I kind of sent to him, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were doing music too."
Yeah, he
And
showed me
yeah,
a really experimental sound. I was like, whoa, well, that's really cool. Well, don't you want to do more of that? Don't you really want to do that? Let's really do those experimental sounds. And then, yeah.
Yeah, and are,
yeah.
are any of these older recordings anywhere online? Both of you, either the
And I know that he's like, oh, sorry.
oh, do we?
Oh.
Yes, I have a Bandcamp with like 2 soundtracks I made
Yeah.
for plays. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Yeah,
I
Pedro
think
has his band camp with
it
the
just lagged
soundtracks.
a little bit.
Okay, cool.
But
Yeah, yeah. I'll have to check that out. And what about the recording like with your dad and
the
whatnot? What about that? And what
soundtracks,
kind of music
yes.
was that? Oh, oh, we lost the audio. I can't hear
Yeah,
you,
there's
Pedro.
no audio.
With the recording with
Now I
the
can hear
songs
you.
he
Oh,
composed, Voices from the Street, Vozes da Rua.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I'm mute. Oh my God.
Like
Oh,
it's so fun. It's like
so yeah, that's all
you're
a
coming
game.
in
I
and out.
mean,
It's
all of
out
it's
of
on
sync.
purpose, and it's
Yeah.
to make you laugh because I wouldn't.
Yeah, you get
No, I think it's normal.
I'm a, but yeah, table 10.
okay.
It's all normal. But yeah, that my dad plays like the saxophone, and all of his albums before were instrumental. And his name is Pedrosa. You can find him on Spotify and all the streamings.
Oh, cool.
And he was instrumental album, and this was the first one singers and guests, speaks, and
Yeah.
all sorts of that.
Yeah, and
And it was like I guess this was the same that you moved from Rio de Janeiro, Rafael.
Yeah, it's true. I believe so.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
That was the last year we lived in the same city.
oh, so speaking of that, so you both are in different cities, and so I'm curious to hear a little bit about how that affected your creation of the album. Um, did you ever get together in person for any of it, or was it all via files and whatnot?
You wanna go ahead, Pedro? What?
You got
I'll go
say
ahead.
that.
Yeah, I think I'll better go ahead. Yeah, it was mostly we actually got together the first time in like 7 years. This year in a few months ago, like 2 months back, we got together the first time in 7 years, and we played a lot, and it was great. But for Quachi and a lot of other works that we did, yeah, it was all through files. We tried some jamming via streaming, did not work, but it never does, I believe. Everyone tries, so
As
you
you
gotta
can see
try.
right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it does not work. It does not. We're not even able to chat in sync, right? So we wouldn't be able to play in sync that well.
No,
But
we are not
having
that
said that, we
experimental.
were really good. Yeah, yeah, not that experimental, really, but we were really good with files. I mean, we found a workflow that we both got surprised as how good it was, and we started producing a lot. And now it has slowed down for all sorts of reasons, but I don't know. It was the best working on a distance. One of the best times, workflow wise and getting
Yeah.
results. we were able to get what we wanted, and the distance allowed us to experiment in ways that I don't think we would, and allowed each one to have an independence to kind of
Yeah.
create and experiment at their own will without having the other one there to censor them or just
Yeah.
move in another direction. Ended up with a really rich result, I believe.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I know you had mentioned like, your love of experimental music. I know you both have a love of experimental music, and then you hearing a track of Pedro's that was more experimental, and because I think that's definitely plays a part in this Procurum Quati album. And I don't know if there's anything you wanted to say about that, or how you approached it, or if how did you and of course tonight when we have a listening party, you could probably provide more specific information about each track, but in general, kind of like your approach and that kind of thing. If you had anything to say about that.
I
You wanna?
remember
Yeah.
like yeah, I'll try. Pray for me. Uh, I remember like the first track Rafael sent me to work together. So it was like a beat with a synthesizer, and I remember that he sent me with like four files, and he said like do anything about this. And I was hearing them, and I didn't know what to do. And the day after, I was really drunk, and I composed a song. And just after I composed it, I thought, oh my God, it sounds like what Raphael sent me. And then I went there to map, and it matched perfectly.
Oh wow.
And it was like the first song. That was the
Yeah, it's
birth of
Mouse
it,
no Size, the first
the Mouse
track
No
of
Size.
the album.
Yeah. And it was funny because, yeah, the opener. And it was funny because it was like this, at the time, it was like the very beginning of the pandemic.
Mm.
We were just like talking to each other almost every day, but it had just begun the pandemic, so it was like a very symbolic thing
Mm.
because
Yeah.
that from that day on, I knew that we would only work on distance for some time. You know, we wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
see each other.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I wondered if you all could also talk a little bit about the title and kind of like
Mhm.
the general running theme and the album and
Yeah,
Quati.
that's on Pedro. That like he loved this animal. As far as I know him, he loves the Quachi,
Yeah.
and he searches a Quachi for as far as I know him, but he never saw one.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So
It became a
Yeah.
snowball. I'm not sure what it even means anymore. It meant so much. It means so little. It's the
I
Quachi.
never found him.
and 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 it's also like,
I,
so if
I'm,
you're not from Brazil, then you might not even know this animal.
Yeah,
Correct?
it's kind of a raccoon. I
yeah.
think that's the best comparison. It's kind of a Brazilian raccoon
That's
of
awesome.
sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But there's a little, oh, the
kind of
cover art
raccoon,
has the little
Brazilian raccoon.
a little
Yeah, I
picture.
think
Yes.
many people even people from Brazil don't know this animal.
Yeah, I
Yeah, even in Brazil, he's not that known. It's
Yes,
not like
there's a
everyone
little
knows
picture
him around.
of a quail.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't take this picture.
I see, I see. So, wait, Hafa, have you
Yeah,
seen one?
but I always, and
Not
I
really.
always,
There's none. I don't think they are natural to the part of Brazil that I live, which is the south. But if they are, then I just haven't seen them.
I
But
see.
they are really cute. And Pedro used to just send me tons of pictures of Pachis for no good reason while we were recording this. And every time I looked at my phone and I thought it was like an update on the track, it was a Pachi stealing a garbage or fighting something. And
Oh,
that
that's
was
great.
that just became a whole theme during the making of it. And now he has left to search the Quachi once again. Yeah.
Yes, he just stepped out to see if he could catch one out outside his door. Hopefully,
Yeah, he actually, it's funny, he's not seen one because he lives in a place where they are actually abundant.
oh, I see.
But I think it's bad luck.
Okay, okay.
It's a lack of will, I would say. He's not searching hard enough.
Oh, he has not done a good enough job looking for it.
Yeah, it's not that good. Yeah, the Quachi has eluded him time and time again.
I see. Okay, well, I think he's trying to hop back in again. But yeah,
I believe so.
so yeah, we'll talk.
The Quachi, it took over.
Yeah, and so for those of you who are watching tonight on our Discord, we're going to have a listening party. It's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'm not sure what the time difference is for you there.
I believe from where I am, it's 1 hour. It's going to be just 1 hour from, I believe the same from Pedro.
Okay.
Just 1 hour later.
Okay, so it'll be like eight for you all.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna be in our Discord listening to the album, and Pedro and Hafa will be talking about the tracks, and then you'll have opportunity to ask them questions, and we hope that people come. If you're not sure how to join us, we have the link to our Discord in the link tree that's in our bio. So yeah, check that out, and we've done a bunch of posts about it, so you can find some more information on our Instagram, obviously too. So we'll hear more about the album then tonight. But I'm really curious to hear. I always love hearing about people's influences and bands and musicians that have stuck with you through the years, and so it'd be great to hear a little bit about that from both of you.
I hope I'm pointing to the right side.
The other way.
I hope I'm pointing to the wrong side. Yeah, I hope I'm doing the opposite of what he's doing.
Is here.
Yeah.
Here.
So yeah, I'll just go first. I don't know. Like Pedro and me, we share a lot of influences.
Yeah. One
of them that we talked a lot is not only he cited Tom Waits, but there's a Brazilian artist that's named Itamar Assunção.
Oh yeah.
Which is someone that I started liking really early on.
Yeah.
Like was one of my first discoveries of more like experimental musicians, but that still had a really grounded feet on like popular Brazilian music. And I really took a liking to him, and I believe Pedro shares that love as much as I do, if not more.
Yeah. And
here in Brazil, I don't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I hadn't heard of him before, and I was checking him out yesterday. Really, really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff. Yeah, and I love the way he puts a lot of other musicians to play, and he knows how to utilize a lot of people in unique ways. And as much as he's composing, he doesn't feel the need to always be on front stage, so to speak. And and Pedro, I believe he will explain the chat a little bit about.
Oh yes, okay. So Pedro's in the chat since the internet is not cooperating.
Yeah. No, I don't believe it was cooperating. That's a nice way to put it.
It was not cooperating.
It was not. But yeah, I like there's tons of people that could go on. I think one thing that it's really clear to anyone that listens to our work is there's a mix of influences from. We really like some people with more traditional song structures, but we really like other types of music that really go away from that. I'm really into hip hop as well. I know Pedro is as well. Yeah. We're big fans of MF Doom. I'm actually in a friend's house. He has a drawing of Doom right here. People, so I don't know. There's something about the way sampling is used in hip hop that we like it a lot. I believe I'm speaking we because I believe Pedro will agree with me. There's this culture of sampling, and we as musicians, we like to play something and sample each other and try to play with that and distort that. And I think I got that a lot from hip hop. Like I use it in other types of music, but
Yeah.
I don't know, my background learning how to distort a sample was listening to Doom, was listening to Madlib, was listening to LP. I don't know, the people who were back then when I listened were like producers that I took care of, like understanding what they were doing, manipulating sound,
Yeah.
and that I believe really taught me a lot about how to, I don't know, how to create a dynamic sound or how to approach a sample, which is something for today. It is, depending on the music you do, it becomes really important to know how to manipulate a sample or to understand how to use that as a skill, as a tool, and not really be stuck with that. Sampling is a awesome tool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you've heard me talk about loop sessions before, and I think both of you would
Yeah.
really love attending that and trying to make tracks. But for those of you who don't, so it's like a monthly event. They're all over the world, actually. I think the first one actually started in Brazil. I forget how long
Yeah, I
ago.
believe so. I was reading about it.
Yeah. So the Mags, who I know, whom, she's one half of Strange Fruits, if anyone's familiar with that. She started a DMV chapter, but anyone can come to any of the chapters, regardless of wherever you live. So there'll be people from all over the world come to the different loop session events. But they moved to online with the pandemic and whatnot, and the DMV chapter obviously is like Virginia, Maryland, DC. So that'll probably always remain online, just because it's a pretty large area to cover for anyone to meet up in one spot. But basically, they drop a crate, and you have about a little less than 24 hours to make a track with sample the album, or it could be a sample pack that somebody made that they give, and everybody just hangs out on Instagram Live, and we listen to the tracks and we talk about them, and it's educational because you learn about a different album each week, or each month, I should say. And so yeah, so there'll be one. November, I forget, whatever the first Friday of November is, always the first Friday of every month for the DMV chapter. But anyway, yeah, hopefully you all will come out to one of them at some point. That'd be really cool. I think you'd be into it.
Yeah.
But it's helped me a lot. I've used samples before too in my music, but I'm not a beat maker or anything like that. So it's kind of really helped me kind of push myself to try new things. And I love that about the loop sessions. And anybody making any kind of genre of music is invited, so it's really cool. It's a really cool event. But back to your influences. Sorry for the info commercial for loop sessions, but I really love loop sessions.
No, it's great. I really like to. I watched
Yeah.
some, and I really like to see Rafa there. Not to be there because
Yeah,
I'm
been
not a
wanting
beat
to.
maker also.
Oh
I've
yeah.
been wanting to participate for a while.
Yeah.
It has not happened.
Yeah. It is tough for folks in that there is like the time constraint challenge, which is part of it. But like, yeah, if you can't make it work for your schedule, then it just doesn't happen. So, but a lot of people just end up squeezing out
Yeah,
something in
exactly.
like 2 hours. Because I would say most of the tracks I've made, I've only had a couple of hours that I had time to even do anything. So, it doesn't have to be this polished thing, that you're making or whatever. But anyway, back to your
Yeah.
influences. I didn't, now that Pedro's back, Pedro's back, maybe Pedro can talk a little bit too.
I hope that
Um,
for good.
yeah,
I hope this time for good. I tried the chat, but even the chat was lagging, so I'm sorry, people. I mean, that's why.
yeah,
But I'll
that's
try.
okay. I understand
Yeah.
the internet. I used to have really poor internet where I live because it's a rural area, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, is there anything you wanted to talk about with the influences, Pedro? I don't know if you heard everything that Hoffa was saying about MF Doom and
Ah,
I'm not going to butcher that
Yeah,
Brazilian artist's name. I know I will butcher it if I try to say it.
Itamar Assunção.
Itamar, Itamar Assunção,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, I don't remember when I discovered him, but it was like kind of early. I remember it's kind of.
I can hear you though. It's looking like you might be going out again. Of course, because now you're talking. It's
Yeah,
going to make you
I
go
think
out.
so.
Ah.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
And I know you mentioned Tom
Oh, no,
Waits.
he's back.
Oh, you're back. Yes. Okay. Say as much as you can, as fast
Yeah.
as you can. No, I'm just joking. Anyway. Oh,
Time is of the
yeah.
essence. Oh, okay, yeah. We lost him.
Okay, yeah, and I know you mentioned Tom Waits too, which I'm a huge Tom Waits fan, so
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. Your influences, though, as it relates.
Yeah, Pedro was the one that actually showed me Tom Waits the first time. He used the song Cemetery
Yeah.
Polka in a school
Oh, really?
project for no reason. I believe it was like an English project. And it was really early, like fourth, fifth grade or something. And he used it Cemetery Polka. And I heard that in class. And I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know, the kid, like Tom Waits' characters and the narratives or imagery that he creates. It's so unique, and it's very awesome. One thing that every like Doom and Tom Waits and the Itamar have in common is kind of it's almost character-like personalities. Almost not. I mean, for Doom, he's basically a character, but yeah.
Yeah.
These are artists that would project themselves in an unrealistic fashion, I believe.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
interesting.
something that really interested
Yeah,
me.
that's interesting. I didn't even
Yeah.
make that connection about all three of them. So do you all feel like you're taking on different personas with Pedroso?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not gonna speak for Pedro because who knows what's on his mind. But I know that I try as much, and I mean, jokingly, yeah, we do. We have a radio show. It's been on a hiatus, but it's just because we haven't been producing as of right now. I mean, it's just whenever we want, we will start back. But yeah, we try to. I don't know. And we both love theater. We both love performance in a way, like in a cheeky way, in a humorous way.
Yeah.
So,
There's definitely
yeah,
humor
if we
here.
can act up a little bit, act up a little rivalry or something, we probably will. I'm not even trying. Probably Pedro doesn't even have a bad connection. He's doing that to mess up with my timing. That's at least my theory as of right now.
I see.
But I will find out later.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
hilarious.
it goes. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yes, and so how long have you all known each other? You sort of have like a kind of a sibling type relationship, or like
Yeah, we know each other for about 15
yeah.
years. I would say something like that. Maybe more. Maybe yeah, about that. Maybe close to 15, 20 years. Something around that area. I'm not sure how much.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah, you went to school
It's a long
together,
time to know someone.
right? You went to school together? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we did to high school together.
I see, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and is there anything like right now that you're listening to right now that you wanted to talk about at all, or it's okay if you don't? It's like-
I listen. I'm kind of obsessed with listening to music. Not that I'm always searching or whatever. I just consume a lot of music. I cannot stand in silence, so it's hard to say. I'm listening a lot to "In a Silent Way" by Miles Davis.
Okay.
Like the 1969 album that I've been hearing that, yeah, almost every day. One day. Yeah, it's becoming one of my favorite albums. That's all I can say because that's something recent
Yeah.
that I kind of rediscovered. I don't think I heard that album in a long time since, like, I heard a few days ago, and I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Then I've just been bumping that a lot.
Oh yeah, but Pedro's
I don't know, Pedro. Yeah,
in
you
the chat saying that bitches
cooler.
brew is cooler.
Everyone, yeah, well, everyone is, you can have your own opinion when you're in your interview.
And when
I believe you chose not to.
Yeah, when your internet is back up, you can give your 2 cents.
Yeah,
So what about
please
you,
do.
Pedro? Do you want to share with us in the chat anything you're listening to right now? Like if it's okay if you don't, but that's what I asked Hava.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, I'm curious
let's see
as
if
well.
let's see if he in the meantime, oh
Well, that's unfair. Well, yeah,
fair.
life's unfair.
No, yeah, so well, okay. Well, if he jumps in and tells us something, we'll
Yeah, Moondog. That's great. I love some Moondog.
okay. Okay, cool. Cool. All right.
Good. Not gonna go against Moondog.
All right, you're not gonna pick a fight with
I'll
them
abstain.
over over that.
No, no. A lot of, yeah. I'll leave it. It's the movie. Use it. The Moondog card is a diplomatic, Pacific one. I'm not gonna. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
It's good. I like a lot of his albums as well. He created a lot of weird instruments and some really cool stuff.
Okay,
Black. I'm not
and I hear
familiar.
Banda Black Rio, who I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not familiar, Peter. You should really have come to talk about these things. No, I'm just joking. I love you.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, Pedro, you really should have showed up. Um,
I'm not fighting it. Even in your chat, it's late to the party. I'm not gonna.
okay, well,
I'm gonna.
so yeah, and actually, I know something I'd like to talk about too. It's like it was really cool because meeting you both also kind of was like you had hit up Grimalkin kind of cold, like we didn't know you or anything, and you had submitted your album, and
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like if you want to talk a little bit about like how did you even hear about Grimalkin, and then like
for sure.
why were you like drawn to trying to connect with us, and we are so happy and grateful that you have. But
We're really happy to be on Grimalkin.
yes, yeah.
I actually, I used to. Oh, I say used to because I'm not even reading any. Like I'm not even reading anymore. But I used to read a lot of articles, like reviews from small band camps in general. I always trying to search new music, and I was familiar with a few Grimalkin releases by. Yeah, I know it sucks.
Oh yeah,
That's the name, right?
great blog.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, really amazing blog in my opinion as well, and they always cover really interesting stuff. And
Yes.
I knew some of your songs, some of your
Oh
releases,
wow.
Spartan
I did not know
Jetflex.
that.
I knew a few things, but like that's the thing. Some of it I had heard more. Some of it I heard a couple tracks. It was that, but then I'm not sure now because it's been a
Yeah, it's
year or
probably
more,
hard to
like
remember.
2 years since we contacted. But there was one release that they covered that I heard, and I started to really be if when I do something more song structured, because I was doing a lot of like really weird drone sounds at the time. But I thought when I have some project that makes sense, I want to link up with it.
We do a lot of
But
weird stuff too,
it
though.
took a while. Yeah, but I wanted something that really it seemed like it would fit
Yeah,
in the that catalog,
yeah.
and then when I was doing the work with Pedro, I started to just that started coming into my head as the album was getting done. Like I really think that's a sound that we could try putting there. We could try talking, and we I don't know. There's something about the way Grimalkin handles things that just makes so satisfactory to release,
Yeah.
to be on the catalog. So it's something that, yeah, we're really happy with it. It was like the number one really thing that we wanted to try, and we got it, and it was so unreal at the time because that's the thing is like true. We're from Brazil, and it seems so far, and it seems so. Oh, will people even answer us?
We listen to
Will people even
everything.
care? Like it's an
We listen to everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
like now I know that very well
Yeah.
because I help out. But
Yeah.
yeah, but even so, like it happens, that like just like, are we not that far? Like, will people care about like two weird Brazilians making weird sound? And yeah, They do.
Yeah,
So that was like the best.
yeah, it was a great
Yeah,
submission. I loved it immediately. Immediately. I was like, "Oh wow, this is
yeah,
great."
I'm really
It
happy about it.
was really great. And of course, like we we review album submissions collectively, and so Hoffa's been doing that for a while now with us, and Pedro's joining us too now to be part of that. There's about 16 or so of us, I guess, that all of our music
Yeah,
submissions
you are.
go out to, and we kind of, we all, not everybody necessarily listens to every single one and necessarily might chime in, but we basically together we decide, if we're going to move forward or
Yeah,
not, and yeah, that's really important to us that we do that
it
collectively.
is.
But yeah, get, I know there was more I wanted to ask you in regards to that, but now it just like all went out my head. But yeah, as far as we're getting into Grimalkin a little bit, in terms of like our releases, we our tape for our tape releases, we typically the artist will choose either a mutual aid need of an individual in their community or of an organization that is doing mutual aid work and that's local to them. And I know that you all had chosen ANF. Again, I'm not going
I,
to try and say, I know the abbreviation for them is ANF. Um, but I wanted to
yeah,
see,
Agência Nacional das Favelas. Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to see if you wanted to talk a little bit. Oh, I remember too what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say shout out to Yeah, I Know It
Yeah, go
Sucks.
ahead.
I do want to shout
Yeah,
out to them
big
again
shout out.
because they're really amazing. And if you don't read their music site, music blog, you should. Again, they're Yeah, I Know It Sucks.
It's amazing. I can say that from all reviews that people wrote from my music, the best
Yeah,
ones. Like it's not like the best one is not a comparative, but the ones that entertain me in a way that I cannot even explain sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Because a lot of times they're poetic too.
just
They're like instead of writing a standard
very interesting.
review, it's more poetic and weird in itself too. Like, yeah, it's really cool. Kai,
He has a sense of humor,
yeah,
and it's something that lacks in like review world. Like it's a sense of humor, and we need more of that, I believe.
yeah, and Kai who runs that, they are a really wonderful person, and I know the doll. She also frequently writes for Yeah, I Know It Sucks. But anyway, going back to the mutual aid stuff, that came back to me in my brain. Yeah, I wanted to see what you both had to say. Pedro can even share in the
Yeah, I
chat.
believe Pedro will be able to share a bit more as ANF is from his cities, from Rio. They are an agency that do journalistic work within the favelas, which are communities that normally don't get that type of representation in the media. They're really bad represented, and the ANF does a work really inside, and it's independent. Independent structure, and it really suffered with the
Yeah,
pandemic heavily.
yeah.
So yeah, as I said, if Pedro can share like a paragraph, can share a little bit about
You
it.
write us
It
up
would be
a
good. Write a
paragraph in the
paragraph
comment.
for me, Pedro. Please write me a paragraph about it. But no, it's something that we wanted to help. It's something that we felt like it would be good, and it was somewhere that we felt like safe of helping. It's something that it has a nice structure. It's a place that it has a consolidated work within the society, and it was something that was in a severe damage. And Pedro is
Saying,
yeah,
yeah, very important
is gonna
organization.
explain.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
Can I
but you said it all. Well, thank you very much.
they gather information from the perspectives
Yeah.
of
Yeah, of the favelas, yeah, because usually they are represented, yeah, in a one-sided way. The media here is very one-sided, so it's very important to be able to have that voice from there, and that's what ANF kind of tries to do, I believe.
That's awesome. And I was just telling Pedro the other day that we do have some additional monies to send over to you all. You have one tape is left, so if anyone wants to snag that last tape, I've been waiting for that to sell so I could just send it all over to you at once, just because, you know, with all the transfer fees and all that baloney, we don't want to be hit twice over one tape. So
Sure.
yeah, so but anyone who yeah, after that one, I will send that over to you. And we also have 2 laths left, so if anyone hasn't listened to Procurum Quati by Pedroso and Pedrosa, you absolutely have to. It is really amazing. It's really cool. It's like experimental folk. It was some it's got the Brazilian sound there and there. I'm not so great. This is why I don't write about music. I'm not so good at explaining it. But it's got a little oh, you could tell, you could hear all sorts, you can hear even the hip hop influences in it. You could hear folk and Brazilian music influences in the album. It's a really, really cool album. And yes, and we have 1 tape and 2 lace left. So, yeah, but, yeah, and I know that you're involved in some mutual aid, or your partner and whatnot. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to talk about, and as far as mutual aid work and whatnot in Brazil or locally.
Not as of right now, as we're still organizing to really put out something. But yeah, I'm always trying to do. I mean, Brazil was hit really hard with the pandemic, and like I live in a small city of kind, so like community work, or like the idea of being able to help out is something that has like really saved a lot of business and a lot of people, and I know it helped me when I needed it, so now I'm really trying to help out back in every way we can. I mean,
and I know you've been kind of involved though in general in your community with like helping with you know, like collecting, like, you know, jackets and blankets
and food as well.
So
we work at doing packet lunches, and we work like with families that need. We work it with as well with, like, here in the South can get really cold, and I mean there's a lot more homeless people now, so we redistribute like you know, like coats and whatnot that you know, like cold clothes. It's any little thing that we can do. I mean, it's not much, but we try.
Yeah, it's really important. And also, just actually, a lot of people might not know like what the situation has been like there with the pandemic. And I know you just recently was finally able to get. Did you get your 2nd shot? I think you said you did, or you were going to.
Still, I did not. I'm getting it early November.
Early November.
The first week.
Yeah, it took quite a while.
Yeah, first week.
A lot of waiting, and
it took.
Yeah.
It took. Really bad situation. The government here is awful, and the situation was dealt in a completely shitty way, and that's like, that's not even to put it mildly.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It dealt horribly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't want to end this on a sad note, but yeah, that's the truth.
I know.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat as well.
Took a sharp turn into darkness, because we could really go down that dark path talking about our countries together, which we have already in the past, but we won't do that today.
Yeah.
But
no, it's okay. But for sure, if you want to help out, there's not only an ANF, but I believe like it doesn't take much search to find out a lot of organizations. I can even share some for Grimalkin to share that in Brazil that could need a helping hand. I mean, if whoever is watching wants to help out, there's ways like, and there's a lot of organizations that need it. So, I don't know. It's always interesting.
That would be great if you wanted to share that information, especially if they're helping folks now with everything that's going on with the pandemic and everything.
Yeah, and now finally getting vaccinated, maybe things will start getting better.
Yeah, let's hope so. And did Pedro able to get vaccinated, or where's he at with that?
I believe so. I believe Pedro is waiting for his 2nd shot, and I believe it happens this month. if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Okay. So now is it kind of more like most people? Is it most people are getting getting vaccinated? Is there how's that going, or is there a lot of misinformation out
It
there?
seems there's still a lot of
Yeah.
misinformation. There's still a lot of people who refuse to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
I think people are getting more, but I don't know. It's still way less than one would hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, people are not that much aware, it seems, as that the importance of going as fast as you can
Yeah.
and getting vaccinated.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully, I mean, we have our own struggles here with with some of that stuff
For
too.
sure.
But I think, well, yeah. But anyway, moving moving away from the from the doom and gloom. Yeah. So I guess we Grimalkin is always trying to find better ways to support artists, trying to do things in a way that's more pays artists fairly, that kind of thing. And you know, there's so many problems with music business, music industry, and even like people's individual music scenes, lots of issues and things like that. So I guess I'd be curious to hear from you, and I don't know, hopefully Pedro will maybe want to jump in there on the chat in the chat there. But if you had the ability to change some things either within your local music scene, what would it be, or within the larger music, industry, whatever it is that you all wanted to kind of talk about and yeah, in that regard.
Yeah, I'm not sure if whatever Pedro is gonna think. I don't know. As far as changing something, I wouldn't know uh, where to. I don't think like the structure. I'm not saying it doesn't need change, but I think it's more of attitude of people within the structure of a music business. I mean, of course, it is all fucked up, but people, I don't know, their attitude still seems to be the problem for me. Local scenes don't get support here. I mean, and if you're doing more specific types of music, you don't get support here as
I
well.
see.
It's really hard. But I don't know. I'm not sure how one could change that. I'm sure there's a way, but I cannot see. I always hope that people, I don't know, will just get more motivated to do things alone, independent, try to really put out their stuff or link up with collectives who have like their best
Mm.
interest in mind, which can be tricky because it's really easy to seem like one, but when you really get in touch, it's the opposite.
Mm.
People are really trying to just trick people. I don't know. It's awful.
Oh, geez.
Like in a way,
Yeah, have you
the
had some
music
bad
business.
experiences like that? Like with,
For sure, I had, but I had amazing ones as well as I did with Grimalkin and as I did like in other situations. But it's hard. I think people should really think more community-wise. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, that's a good,
That's something that I always valued was being able to. Well, Pedro spoke a lot. I need to read what. Well, I always value being able to collaborate and create kind of a bound between people who do really different stuff, but people don't seem that interested in doing that. So I don't know. People got try to support more each other. I know it kind of sounds cliche, but well, it's a true cliche. People should support more each other. People
yeah.
should consume more their friends' music.
Ah, yeah.
That's something that doesn't happen that much. I don't know. Support is not just like share a post. Like it sucks to say that, but it's true. And people should like get more engaged. I think that's the thing. It doesn't. It may mean buying something. It may not. It may just like really engaging more with your community. I think that's a moment in time that people who love music and love to consume music, if they don't start to engaging actively with their communities, this will die out, or it will get a lot more barren. I don't know.
Yeah, that I agree with all that. Just if people supported their community more, their local community, like, and especially in terms of art and music, yeah, that alone would make a difference, and engaging in a way that's more meaningful, even if it's like showing up to a show, buying an
Yeah.
album, talking about the music with a friend or whatever. That stuff's important. And yeah. And I guess, yeah, the last thing I really appreciate you both coming on.
Yeah, I agree with Pedro with what Pedro
What did
said,
Pedro
that
say? Because
streaming
I'm
does
having
make
a
it
hard time
easier.
reading.
Pedro said streaming makes it easier for accessing music, as well as it makes it easier to create monopolies.
Oh, yes.
Monopoly. I don't know how to.
Yes.
Yeah, and it does for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a good point because, yeah,
It's hard to avoid.
streaming has made music so much more accessible to folks because people might not necessarily be able to buy every album, but they can listen to it on, on streaming
Yeah,
services. But then again, the streaming services refuse to pay artists fairly, and they kind of
yeah,
that's greatly harmed artists a lot. Since streaming has come into play, it's really kind of tanked music sales and so forth. And yeah, it's just been rough.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really rough. So I guess the point is, if you can buy your friends' music, I love that point too. Listening to your friends, supporting a local artist, that's also really key because I feel like, there's so many people out there that are so talented, making great things. That, in my opinion, is often much, much better than what you see in the mainstream, and
Yeah.
encouraging people to kind of like get outside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's important. I know, like, taste is subjective, and you should listen to what you really enjoy. But the thing about taking a break and listening to someone from your community, your friend, is you're supporting the whole scene by doing it. Maybe you don't enjoy as much as you do in a consolidated artist, but not only there are people who you will enjoy as much, you just did not found yet,
yeah,
but you are supporting the whole scene actively by just listening to your friend, and maybe you enjoy but not that much. It's actually really important. It doesn't seem that much, but it is.
yeah,
That's why people should really be trying to at least know and have an opinion about albums and whatever is coming out on their local scene. At least be able to tell why you don't like it. That's a lot better than saying you did not have time to listen.
yeah. And on that point too, I'm also really excited that both you and Pedro both said that, oh, folks that locally and whatnot that might be interested in Grimalkin and want to release with us at some point in the future. And we definitely
Yeah.
want more. We're trying to build our international perspective, in general, and have more music here that's not just based in the United States. So, yeah,
That's one of the awesome things about Grimalkin. One of them.
yeah. But yeah, I really appreciate you both coming on, and I'm looking forward to tonight. Again, tonight we're having a listening party and chat with Rafa and Pedro in our Discord. The link to our Discord is in the link tree in our bio. And I guess on that note, if there's any parting words of wisdom, advice, or hopes for the future that you want to leave us with.
I want everyone to just help Pedro find the Quachi. Send him pictures of Quachis if you want. If you're really engaged in this, go to Google Images and get a picture of the Quachi and send on his DMs, or just, I don't know, like, wish
Spam
him luck on
Pedro
finding it.
with Quachi.
Spam Pedro with Quachis. Yeah, and then go to the listening party for sure. Or if you cannot, listen to the album if you did not yet, or listen again if you did
Listen
already.
again. Listen for the first time, or listen
Yeah,
again. It's an awesome album. It's on our Bandcamp. Oh, and some of you may know
yeah,
this or may not know this, but Huff is also one half of AC Repair School, which is also
it's true.
um, uh, yeah, we've
Which
also
I
released.
encourage everyone to check it
Yes, which
out.
we often
Yeah,
we can also release. So check out AC Repair School too. And excitingly, I
please
got
do.
to hear Hafa's new album, solo album. We
Yeah, very excited.
yes, it's going to be it'll be out this March. So more news on that later. But it's
Yeah,
awesome. Um, so that's coming. Um,
thanks. That really means a lot.
yeah. All right, cool. Well, thank you again, both, and I'll see you a little bit later tonight. And yeah, thanks so much for coming
Okay.
on. Okay.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you take care. See you a little
Thank
bit.
you.
All
See you
right.
later.